Introduction of Rural Sociology and Educational Psychology. Social Stratification. By Dr. Saurabh Sharma, Associate Professor, Nagaland University, Medzifema Campus, Nagaland. Understanding Social Stratification. Social stratification is the hierarchical arrangement of individuals or groups in a society based on various factors such as wealth, power, status, education and occupation. It results in the division of society into distinct social classes, where individuals at the top enjoy greater privileges, opportunities and resources compared to those at the bottom. This structure often influences people's access to resources and opportunities, as well as their social mobility. Key definition. Social stratification is the process by which individuals and groups are ranked in a more or less enduring hierarchy of status. Ogburn and Ninkorf. Hierarchical structure influences access to resources, opportunities, and social mobility between classes. SS. Social stratification is the vertical division of society into different social strata. Strata imply different status levels. J.S. Ruchek and R.L. Warren. What is social stratification? 1. Upper class. Greater privileges and opportunities. 2. Middle class. Moderate access to resources. 3. Working class. Limited opportunities. 4. Lower class. Restricted access to resources. Social stratification divides society into hierarchical ranks. Position affects access to resources and opportunities. Understanding status. Status defined. Status refers to the social position or rank that individual or groups hold in relation to others within a society. Example include role like engineer, doctor, mother, adult, child, student or leader. These positions reflect a person's social standing and influence interactions and expectations in various contexts. Ascribed status is one given to individual or group based on birth to certain factors as caste, religion, sex, race etc. upon which they have no control. There are two types of status, i.e. ascribed status and achieved status. Examples are caste status, Brahmin, Harijan etc. Racial status, white and black. Religious status, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh. Age-based status, infant, child, adult. Sex-based status, boy, girl. Understanding social stratification. Key bases of stratification. SS achieved status is one obtained by people or groups by their efforts and personal competence. Examples, professional positions like doctor or engineer. The important based upon which people or groups are ranked into different social status levels are 1. Income. The amount of money a person earns, typically measured as their salary or wages, is a significant factor in determining their social status. Higher income often leads to a higher social standing. 2. Wealth. Wealth includes a person's assets, such as property, investments and savings, minus their debts. People with substantial wealth tend to have higher social status and more opportunities. 3. Education. The level of education a person attains can strongly influence their social position. Higher levels of education are often associated with better job prospects and social standing. 4. Occupation. The type of work a person does and their job status within society can be a key factor in social stratification. Certain professions are more highly regarded and carry more prestige. 5. Caste. In some societies, particularly in South Asia, social stratification is influenced by caste systems, where individuals are assigned to specific social groups based on birth. The caste one is born into significantly impacts their social status and opportunities. 6. Gender or sex. Gender-based social stratification refers to the unequal treatment and opportunities that individuals face based on their gender or sex. Historically, men have often held higher social status than women in many societies. 7. Race. Racial discrimination and prejudice can lead to social stratification, where some racial groups are favored while others are marginalized. This is a significant issue in societies with diverse racial populations. Bases for social stratification. Economic factors. Income and wealth determine access to resources and opportunities. Education and occupation. Educational attainment and job prestige influence social standing. Demographic factors. Caste, gender, and race create systemic advantages or disadvantages. Types of social stratification. Open social stratification is one wherein there is an opportunity for people or groups to move upwards or downwards in their status based on their efforts and personal competence. This stratification is social class system. There are two types of social stratifications. Social class system. An example of open social system is in modern democratic societies, where individuals have the opportunity to improve their social status through education, hard work, and personal achievements. For instance, a person born into a working-class family may move up to a middle or upper class by acquiring higher education, gaining valuable skills, or establishing a successful business. This flexibility of social mobility characterizes the social class system, where movement between classes is possible based on merit and effort. Characteristics. Social class possesses certain important characteristic, viz. Social class is a status group, is a concept in sociology that refers to a group of people who share similar social and economic characteristics, and they occupy a relatively similar position or status within a society's hierarchical structure. These characteristics often include factors such as income, wealth, education, occupation, and lifestyle. Social class is a way of categorizing and understanding the economic and social disparities that exist within a society. Characteristics of social class. Social class possesses certain important characteristic, viz. B. Social class is a culturally homogeneous group. Social class typically does not imply cultural homogeneity. Instead, social class is primarily associated with economic and social factors, such as income, wealth, education, and occupation. While people within the same social class may share some cultural similarities due to their shared economic circumstances, it's important to recognize that cultural diversity can exist within any social class. C. Social class involves more of class consciousness, is when people in the same social class recognize they have similar challenges and goals, and they unite to improve their lives, especially regarding money and social status. D. Social class maintains social distance. Social class often leads to the maintenance of social distance, where people from different classes tend to interact less due to differences in income, lifestyle, and social circles. For example, individuals from a wealthy upper-class background might have limited interaction with those from a lower-income working-class background, leading to a gap in social connections and experiences. E. Social class is an open system, meaning that people can move between classes during their lives. For example, someone born into a lower-class family can obtain a good education, work hard, and eventually move up to a higher social class through career success. Closed social stratification refers to a system where it is challenging or nearly impossible for individuals to change their social class or move between different strata. In this system, social mobility is restricted and people usually remain in the class into which they are born. Example, in a society with closed social stratification, a person born into a low-income family is likely to remain in that lower economic class throughout their life, regardless of their abilities or efforts to improve their situation. Opportunities for upward mobility, such as access to quality education or better job prospects, are limited, reinforcing the existing social hierarchy. Caste system. Key example, caste system. India's caste system exemplifies closed stratification. From Spanish a casta, breed race, Portuguese applied it to India's jati. According to M.N. Srinivas, caste is an example for closed system of social stratification in India society. The term caste owes its origin to Spanish word casta, which means breed, race, or a complex of hereditary qualities. The Portuguese applied this term to the classes of people of India, known by the name of jati. Caste is a group of people who often, not always, have association with hereditary occupation, eat and marry among themselves and minimize interactions with members of other out groups. Understanding the caste system, social division in India. The caste system creates rigid social divisions based on birth. It impacts every aspect of life in traditional Indian society. These divisions extend beyond occupation to influence marriage, social interactions, and religious practices. Upper class. Highest social status and privilege. Middle class. Moderate status and opportunity. Lower class. Limited rights and opportunities. Untouchables. Severe restrictions and discrimination. The caste system divides society into ranked segments. Movement between castes is historically restricted. This hierarchy extends to religious practices, creating both social and spiritual stratification. Characteristics of caste. Segmental division in Indian society means that people are divided into groups based on things like their caste, religion, and job. These groups are strict and have a ranking, and it's hard to change from one group to another. For instance, in India, if a person born into a particular caste, like being in a specific group, your caste decides what job you can do and how you can interact with others. Moving from one caste to another has always been very difficult, so it makes society divided into segments. Marriage and occupational restrictions. Endogamy, marriage within the caste. Occupational limitations. Professions are predetermined by caste birth. A person's occupation is inherited, not chosen. Traditional occupations include priests, warriors, merchants, artisans, and laborious. Job mobility across castes is severely limited. Social and religious hierarchy. Social and religious hierarchy refers to the system in which individuals or groups are ranked or organized based on their social status, roles, or religious significance, often in a structured and hierarchical manner. Example of social hierarchy. In some societies, there is a clear social hierarchy with classes such as the upper class, middle class, and lower class. People in the upper class have more wealth and power than those in the lower class, leading to social stratification. Example of religious hierarchy. In certain religions, there may be a religious hierarchy, such as priests, bishops, and cardinals in the Catholic Church. Each rank holds different levels of authority and responsibilities within the religious institution. Endogamy means marrying someone from within your own social or cultural group, like your caste or community. Example, in some Indian communities, there's a practice of endogamy where individuals are encouraged to marry within their own caste. This means a person from a specific caste will marry someone else from the same caste, rather than choosing a partner from a different caste. Restriction in feeding. Means rules or customs in a society that limit who people can eat with or socialize with based on factors like caste, religion, or social status. Example, in some cultures, there are restrictions on who can share meals with whom. For instance, members of a higher caste may not dine with those from a lower caste, which is a form of social restriction based on caste. Social restrictions and disabilities. Feeding restrictions. Higher castes observe strict rules about who they can share meals with. Food prepared by lower castes is considered impure. Civil disabilities. Lower castes face limitations on property rights, education access, and public participation. These restrictions impact economic mobility. Religious disabilities. Temple entry, religious ceremonies, and sacred text access are restricted. Lower castes face exclusion from religious practices. These restrictions create comprehensive social boundaries. They reinforce caste identity through daily interactions. Social distance between classes. Separate living areas. Different classes often live in distinct neighborhoods. Educational segregation. Schools often reflect and reinforce class divisions. Workplace hierarchies. Employment settings maintain class distinctions. Leisure activities. Social classes participate in different recreational pursuits. Segmental division in society. Rigid boundaries. Clear separation exists between social groups. Crossing these lines is difficult or forbidden. Hierarchical ranking. Groups are arranged in order of status. Position determines rights and privileges. Limited interaction. Contact between different segments is restricted. Social mixing follows strict rules. In India, caste divides society into segments. Your birth caste determines your occupation and social interactions. Social and religious hierarchy. Social ranking system. People are organized based on perceived social worth. Position affects rights and treatment. Religious authority structure. Religious institutions maintain their own hierarchies. Different roles carry varying levels of power. Marriage restrictions. Endogamy requires marriage within one's own group. This preserves boundaries between social segments. Caste versus class, key differences. Thank you.